I knew it was going to be successful. We are successful. People are happy in the building. I feel very, very blessed walking in this building. So when the pre-verbals say their first word, we were just so happy. We knew then that Wonder Haven worked. I kind of saw how girls like me, normal girls, being in higher positions. And I think I could do that. Even till this day, I would do it over again in a heartbeat. I knew that it was going to work.
Today we're outside Wonder Haven Nursery, a beautiful setting run by someone that actually used to work at college with, Edwina. She reached out to me after watching one of my YouTube videos, and I had no idea how determined she was going to be to bring her vision to life. By the time she contacted me, Edwina had already made amazing progress. She had a building, a business plan, and years of experience as a nursery manager. But like many people at that stage, she was looking for reassurance, guidance, and that final push to get Ofsted ready. That's when she joined my online course, and the rest, as they say, is history. Wonder Haven has been running for over 3 years now. She's built an excellent reputation despite being right next door to 2 other nurseries and even a bright horizons. This video is part of a new series of videos where we visit people that have helped support so that you can find out what it's really like opening and growing your own nursery. The goal is simple: to inspire. I want to give you the inspiration to take that leap and to give you an honest look as to what it's like to run your own nursery, and so you can see how to build something truly successful. But before we go inside, welcome to the channel. So let's go inside. Hi, Edwina, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Welcome to Wonder Haven Nursery.
Oh, it's good to see. It's good to see. How long have you been open now?
We're going into our 4th academic year in September.
Very long time.
It's mind-blowing.
Just very hectic, very busy.
It is.
Do you want to show me to where we've got to go?
Yeah, of course. Follow me.
So yeah, we're here today with Edwina at Wonder Haven. We're in the Shining Stars room. We've got to ask Edwina a few questions, see how she's set up, and see if she's got any advice for you lot.
Loads of advice. Loads of mistakes.
Let's start at the beginning. So what made you get into nursing? What was you doing before?
Before, I was in retail, to be fair. I was in retail just after I finished uni. I didn't choose any childcare, like college courses or anything, but I was volunteering in a place called Baytree Centre in Brixton.
What was that?
That was like an after-school club for children who were in primary school, who could do like games, do their homework, just kind of like afters. I've worked in a school where they call it afters. My cousin put me through for some work experience just to, you know, keep you busy, get used to some things. And the children started requesting for me to come back. And I was about 15, 16 at the time. So I thought, oh, okay, this is cool. I'm actually being asked for. So I kind of feel like, long story short, I feel like people around me, including children and my cousin and the staff members that were there, kind of told me what my passion kind of was, or what I was genuinely good at.
Yeah.
So I thought, okay, let me try and listen to that. Didn't choose anything child related for college, but then towards the end, I was having a chat with one of my friends who I went to secondary school with, and she said she was doing early childhood studies at Roehampton. So I thought, oh, okay, tied in with my experience, let me just try that, because I didn't decide, I didn't know what I wanted to be at all.
Oh, so you done it at uni as well?
Yeah, so I did it at uni. Yeah, eventually I chose. I did early childhood studies combined with childhood and society, which were really good courses. And then after that, I started working in retail. And then I joined an agency and they started sending me to primary schools and nurseries, and the rest is history.
So when you started with the early childhood studies, did you have the plan to go into nursery at all? Or just... No,
not even to open one. Definitely not. Just to teach. I was like, I'm good with children. I'm sure this is the perfect path to take. I don't know where it's going to lead me, but hey. So it wasn't until I got into my role when I was about 23. I worked at a nursery school in and around West and Southwest London. It was a private nursery school, quite prestigious as well. And when I was there, I kind of saw how girls like me, normal girls, being in higher positions. And I started thinking, I think I could do that. And again, I got lots of praise from when I was doing appraisal supervisions. The teachers were like, you're made for this. Oh, this is fantastic. The children will love me. The parents will love me, and things like that. And then this lovely thing called the pandemic happened. And by then I'd applied for a deputy role. And then the head of school was pregnant. So naturally, by default, I was going to move into that head position. So being in that position allowed me to work closely with the director and the co-owner, saw just everything from the ground up that goes into being a nursery, running a nursery. And because I'd been juggling a lot of that in my management role and being hands-on in the classroom, I just developed a wide range of knowledge and thought, you know what, I think I actually can start doing this. So I started telling my friends, I think I want to open up my own nursery just to, kind of see where it goes. And I spoke to somebody that I used to work with, and she kind of had a drive as well. She was starting a babysitting agency. So she was quite business minded as well, going into her own lane. And she said that she was open to the idea of opening a nursery as well. But that kind of fizzled out. She left and things like that. And I kind of put it on a back burner, especially when the pandemic happened. I thought, oh my gosh, this is just too much. So when we came out of that, returned back to work, the following year, so middle of 2021, I handed in my notice and was like, yeah, I'm going to start looking for buildings, guys. And I'm going to try and and go head first.
So how was that journey? So from that day, what did you do?
First, so my partner is really good with the back end stuff. So getting a trademark, coming up with a name. And then I knew I needed to register to Ofsted. So I did all of that, put it to one side. And then I started Googling and YouTubing, and I came across one of your videos on YouTube. I was sitting there scrolling, looking, but there was nothing. There's literally, and I feel like at the moment, you're the only page that covers this kind of stuff from a nursery owner's perspective to actually having the YouTube channel. I mean, there's other people that have different platforms, but on YouTube, you're the most consistent that I've seen anyway. And there was somebody else as well, I think at the beginning, I think she was called Girl Boss, and she had maybe 2 or 3 videos. So I Googled, saw you, and I was like, that's Curtly. What is he doing on this platform? This is so weird.
So for those that know, me and Edwina went to college together.
Yeah, we were in the same form group. So that was a really crazy coincidence. And instantly I emailed you and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm in the middle of doing my nursery sign up and everything, looking for buildings. I was already a certain way in the journey. Yes. But then I saw your course. I was like, oh my gosh, I'd 100% love to benefit from that. And when I finally got that managed, let me finish off what I needed to do. So contract, job descriptions and all the templates and amazing information that you had on there, just helped me finish the rest of the journey. And yeah, that's now been open for 3 years.
In terms of setting up, what sort of challenges did you find? That was a big sigh.
There were so many, even from being missold the building in the first place. This building used to be run by, it was another nursery was operating in this building. But when I took it over, I won't mention the nursery's name, but they were running it and the building was under the wrong planning class. You have to be, I think back then it was D, or now it's category E or F, right? But there was under B1 or B2. And that happened when my solicitor was doing all the environmental searches, all the surveying and blah, blah, blah. She came across this and was like, I don't think you can run as a nursery. You're going to have to switch your idea. Because I'd already signed the lease and everything. I was already tied in for 5 years. And they said, without this change in planning class, you can't run as a nursery. I went ballistic. The people that own the village said that, oh, it wasn't their fault. I should have done my due diligence before. I'm like, in hindsight, I don't know whether it was my fault. The agent should have known what the planning class was and let me know. But anyway, I had to apply for something called a certificate of lawfulness to change the planning class, basically. Managed to get that done. But the guy who told me that I needed to do that said that we can do this, but it's not even guaranteed it will change at the end. So about 2 months while I was waiting, I had no idea whether I could run it as a nursery. So that was the first very big hurdle. And I'd already signed the lease in November 2022, and then 2021. And then we got the certificate in February 2022. So that's about 3 months where I was on tenterhooks.
On edge, just
completely stressing. On edge. But we still wanted to make it look very child friendly because we wanted it to be something, childlike in any way to do with the childcare industry. If it wasn't going to be a nursery, then it is what it is. But we got the all clear, thank God. And we were paying rent around that time as well. So that was just a lot of cash loss, not knowing where we stood until we got that okay.
Usually they're quite open with a change of buildings. So was it difficult? They pushed back at all?
No, putting the application through was fine. There was no issue with that, but they just said it wasn't a guarantee that we'd be able to change it.
Yeah.
It was so weird. I think they said something about had to look at the floor plan and the CAD design and all this stuff. I'm like, you're speaking gibberish to me. I don't know what you're asking me. But yeah, doing the application itself was fine. And the
council
people
didn't have any concerns.
No, they didn't. No, nothing like that. It went through, and thankfully it just went through smoothly.
Yeah, especially in this sort of building where it's not in a residential area. They're not really that bothered by it.
Yeah. And then I joined a marketing agency, who told me not to start marketing until the building was complete. And again, looking back, I don't know why they gave me that advice, because I was thinking, surely I could have put a sign up website or something, sign up for interest. Surely.
What was the reason behind that?
They said, parents are going to want to see a finished building. They want to come in and see and enjoy the environment before they sign up for it. And I'm like, while that's true, why can't I put the word out that something is coming to this building? But I thought, okay, you're the expert, but I'll follow by your lead. And so we didn't do any marketing until May 2025, which is when we got our Ofsted certificate after they visited in March. So yeah, those were a few things that kind of held us back. And we only opened with 2 children. I
was going to say, so was marketing a bit slow at the beginning?
It was horrible. I didn't know what I was doing. We were flying around the area. We got maybe a couple of calls, but nothing really led to anything. But we were just like, this place is beautiful. I just wish people would know. Yeah, could see it. I think they'd buy into it. But we did a couple of events. So we did like a science event that we tried to post on Facebook and stuff like that. Some families came actually, and we did a few tours. I don't think we got any children that way, but we started off, instead of running it as a full nursery, we started it off as a stay and play, where parents would pay between £5 and £10 for a couple of hours on site just to play with what we already had. And then we were hoping that would now transfer into word of mouth and giving, recommendations to other people. But then it wasn't until one of now members of staff, she's a chef and one of our chefs and housekeepers, came in wanting a job and childcare, because she needed to be in a job to get certain things for herself.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, right, fine, you've got a deal. You'll be my first child and I can give you a role, but I'm not going to be able to pay you anything at the moment. We were very, very understanding, but I was like, we can offset it from fees. And we just came to an understanding anyway. And she's been with us for the past 3 years, which is great. She told her friend, and they became the first 2 children that came to the nursery. So we just started running as we were full, trying to get content and put that out there. And then naturally the word of mouth just grew.
So what do you think worked in terms of marketing? Literally just word of mouth?
Yeah, I would have done things completely different before. I would have done way more events and been a bit more loud about it online, definitely, while the building was still being built.
That's what I always recommend. I always say to do as much beforehand, because you've got the building and you're literally just waiting for Ofsted, sitting there doing nothing. And
it's just empty or whatever. I mean, the construction team, they dragged their feet as well. That was another thing. There's always an excuse. So we'll come next week, we'll come the week after, blah, blah. All of that just delayed it being more finished before. So if it was, and we were still waiting for Ofsted and it was completely done, then it wouldn't have been an issue for us to be a bit more louder. But the building technically wasn't all that ready.
Yeah. You think the same play sessions helped getting word of mouth out?
Oh yeah. Oh, massively. There was a woman who would come a few times a week actually with her 2 boys. And then she brought some other friends as well. And that became like a social place for parents just to come, hang out and all of that stuff. And then I remember when that started to slow down, they were disappointed, thinking, but we this is such a great service, we want to continue staying. But they had older children. They were like 6, 5, 7. And we thought, we're going to be opening as what we wanted to at this point as a nursery, which I was grateful for. And they said, well, 100%, we'll tell all of our friends who are having children and la, la, la. So yeah, naturally, between the lady who came for the job and had our first child here and 2 children here, along with the people that came from the stay and play, they helped to spread the word. And they kind of catapulted it, I'd say.
Yeah, I definitely think it's important to try and get involved in the community. That's the biggest thing. So especially with nursery, it's not really as much online. It's more trying to get involved and
that's it.
Keeping yourself in the heart of it.
Yeah, that's true.
With the marketing company, I've noticed that you've changed from them since.
From the marketing team?
Yeah. So what happened with them and what?
So funnily enough, while I was setting up the nursery and telling my partner about the problems that I was facing, he learned the marketing game. He started teaching himself and he essentially took over. So he's now even started his own marketing agency, which now does all of our stuff for Wonder Haven, which is insane. Yeah. Now we're just keeping it in the family now and growing our empire. So I was very happy with that. And he's like on professional level now. So, and that started off as a hobby. He was trying to solve my problem. Yeah. So now he solves that issue for myself and other people.
So would you recommend the marketing company?
I would, 100%. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. Definitely it does.
I saw as well. So one thing I really liked your website, like you have lots of little nuggets that I think, oh, that's a really nice touch.
Yeah.
Of the baby pictures.
Yes.
Rather than having, so on the About Us page, you have pictures of the staff
as babies. Exactly.
What made you think of, what made you?
I kind of emulated that idea from the place that I used to work at before. So on their website, they would have their baby picture and they'd have an adult picture. So when I spoke to my staff, they weren't so crazy about having their adult pictures on there. And then I thought, you know what, okay, let me just leave it alone. I don't want to pressure anyone to have to put their faces out there. I'm more than happy to do that, but I don't want to force them to. Then the next day I came in and said, how about baby pictures? They were like, oh, absolutely. Oh, I've got loads. Oh, take it. So we just kind of left it as that. And then I started thinking about it in terms of how our whole, can I say, ethos or vibe of the nursery, with wanting to make little people seem very important. So seeing the list of babies in their roles is kind of like, oh, this is quite cool. It's like, oh, this little child grew up to be, you know, this person in this position. And it just gives a sense of like power and identity to younger selves there.
That's what you want to push in.
Exactly. It worked. It really did work in the end.
That's really good. I really liked it.
Good. I'm glad. Thank you.
Going back to the beginning, when you said you started with the pandemic and stuff like that, and then it stopped. What was the point where you was like, I'm really going to do this now? I
think being in that role around that time, there was so much pressure, and I thought pressure in terms of getting things right, leading a whole branch of a nursery through something that was very unknown, being on top of everything, being on top of staying professional, and all of these things, just keeping the nursery running as smoothly as possible with masks and visors and checking for PCR tests and stuff. I was so overwhelmed, and I just started thinking, if I'm going to be this stressed, I need to be stressed on my own turf, in my own business.
Yeah.
So that idea just started to grow and grow and grow, and said, I think I've literally had all the experience I could get, from being a volunteer and knowing nothing to being a head of school and knowing everything and working alongside the owners and everything and learning about the business side, which is something that I'd never really dip my fingers into. I had no idea. But I thought, okay, since I've put in all of this work, it was 6 years in total. So I left, and then I went back again. I just thought, yeah, I think I can do this. With a strong team, there's no reason why my nursery shouldn't work. I've learned enough. I just didn't want to be that stressed and not own something. Like, there's got to be some sort of payoff for me being this stressed. It's got to be mine.
The biggest worry for setting up the nursery was around doing the business side of things.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because that was what I just had no experience in at all. That wasn't my forte.
How did you overcome that?
How did I overcome that, to be fair? I think I just going along the process, just dealing with the stumbling blocks in my way without that much guidance. I didn't want to bother anyone. Again, there wasn't that much out there for me to go back. There weren't no ChatGPT where I can go and ask, you know, oh, how do you want to fix this issue? There wasn't any of that. So I kind of just had to think, okay, how can I get to the next step in my own way? How can I figure this out? So it was just a matter of trial and error, trying different things, I guess asking for advice where I could, but really trying to do my own research. So Googling, seeing how I could put out this fire and this. And then again, YouTube videos as well, especially when it came to like dealing with HMRC, dealing with, all the like policies and procedures and insurance and keeping up to date with all of that. But then I realized slowly that all of these things are systemized. You sign up X, Y, and Z platforms that are there to help you. So once I found those, I leaned on them quite heavily just to build the businessy side of it, and then just dealt with the rest as it came. And learning about payroll, oh my gosh, that was a nightmare. And I still deal with that now, not as much. I try to get my accountant to do as much as possible, but I did want to learn everything. So at least if I didn't want to be, exactly, I can do it myself. But yeah, just learning so many new things and on the go. And I was making masses of mistakes, but I'm so happy that with the staff that we did have, they were quite understanding and kind of said, do you understand your vision? I do understand you need to figure some things out. We will be patient with you as well. So that gave me a peace of mind and confidence to just kind of relax. I've got time. Let me breathe and push through.
That's why it's so important to get people to buy into your vision.
Yeah.
It's good to have a vision, and they need to buy into it. I
agree. Even when I had my first interview with the manager, who's been with us from the beginning, even before we had the building, I went on Indeed and I found her. And we had an interview, but really and truly, it was like a 3-hour conversation about everything early years. And I said, this is the girl that I want. And at the end of that interview or chat, she said, you know what, your vision is so beautiful and I'd love to go ahead with you. And she'd already had a deal with her other place that she was working with. She staggered her hours down with them and started to stagger them up with us when we were a bit more ready. And she would call and be like, okay, well, are you ready? I'm really wanting to come. But I thought, because some time had gone and where I was waiting for the change in certificate of lawfulness and all of that stuff, I thought she'd lose interest. But she said, no, I believe in your vision that bad that I want to be part of this journey. And she's been with us till now. And she was deputy head back then. Now she's full-blown manager here. And she's excellent. She's awesome. Yeah.
So one of the biggest challenges a lot of nurses face is recruitment. Obviously, you got it, manager. How have you found recruitment?
I've luckily have found it very easy. Her name is Seema. From finding Seema, she recommended Hanifa, who is now third in charge. And we put out some posts on Indeed when we wanted our fourth and fifth people to come. And a lady called Gracie, who's our room leader and acting third in charge when Hanifa's not here. She called up, said that she was doing her level 2, but wanted to complete her level 3 because she did that with us. Absolutely fine. She came and then she recommended her sister-in-law. And her sister-in-law came for a little bit. And then we had some volunteers who came and they wanted to increase their hours. So they started with us. And then Hanifa recommended somebody else. That somebody else recommended somebody else. And then it just, again, the word of mouth, just like the families coming in, staff were recommending others as well. So it was fairly easy. Even up until now, our latest recruits have been recommendations of current staff. So recruitment has been a breeze.
Why do you think it's been decently easy for you?
I would say, if I'm being completely honest, I'd say that I think when I had the chat with Seema in the first place, that belief that she had in me, I think kind of translated over to her. So whenever she was passing on the message, they'd be like, this woman has got something great going on. I think you would want to be part of it. She's super passionate, super fun, super chilled, super relaxed. I don't micromanage or anything. I just kind of let people do what they're doing. So when they eventually do come in and start working, they're like, oh, this is actually a very nice working environment where the managers aren't sharks. We're just very normal people. We've been in the teacher positions before, so we kind of like know how not to act. And myself personally, from the strictness, I would say, and regiment and routine that my other nursery had, didn't really work well for staff. So I wanted to undo that when I started this place. I'm like, okay, the sharkish finger wagging does not work and it doesn't motivate staff. We want happy staff to be able to be happy with the children. So I've just kind of carried that on. And some would even call me like a pushover, but it's working for me. We've got committed staff that have been with us for years now and don't show any signs of wanting to leave. They want to work beyond their hours just because they like being at work. I hear that all the time. I just like being here. We've got some term time staff that just came in casually to start doing things for the September term. I'm like, why are you here? Yeah, it's just a nice place. And they make these comments all the time. I'm like, oh, okay, maybe it's just the vibe of the place that helps to keep people here.
I definitely see that. You definitely come across as a very jovial person, and that spreads to your team.
Yeah, I can't turn it down. It's just me. This is how I am.
I can see your passion.
I get that a lot. Thank you.
During the point of setting up, was there any ever point where you doubted or felt like giving up?
Never. No. Never. That's one thing. Even till this day, with all the hurdles that I've had, nope. I would do it over again. Yeah. In a heartbeat. Yep. Mainly because
you had your goal, you knew you was going to get
it. Exactly. Yeah. In a nutshell, that's it. I knew that it was going to work because, like I said, in my other place, I'd already done so much. On the nursery side, I was sure. I knew there was never going to be any fault in that. If there was going to be any hiccups, it would be on the business side. And trust me, there are many hiccups on the business side, financial included, but we thank God. You know, one thing I'd say is I thought that HMRC were like complete sharks and very unreasonable and very cutthroat and this, that, and the other. Yes. At the moment, the corporation tax isn't even a thing. We're still very much babies. But in terms of like paying catch up with like payroll tax or PAYE, tax contribution and NI and whatever, all of that stuff. Of course, cash flow just started running low, especially when we didn't have as much children signed up. And it was just a matter of giving a phone call and explaining the situation. Like, I'm completely new. I'm trying to figure some things out at the moment. Cash flow is a bit of an issue. What can you help me with? And they're more than happy to like offer a payment plan or something like that, a manageable one. And the last time I had a chat with them, they said, you know what, HMRC only just want to see that you're trying to pay rather than avoiding or evading paying. So if you're not even able to manage to pay the full amount that you're owing, if you do, I don't know, £200, £500, whatever it is, however much you've amassed over the years or whatever, they're just happy to see that you're trying. And that's one thing I learned. I was like, oh, wow, okay, I've changed my mind completely about them.
They are actually generally quite nice. Even myself, when I first started off, the first year, I think I was late on my payment, and they were sending me the late
final
payment.
Final warning, this, that, the other.
I don't know. I was burying my head in the sand, so I didn't want to
deal with it. Same here.
And I called them up, and they were like, they cancelled it basically straight away. They cancelled the fine and just paid what I owed.
There you go.
Yeah,
look at that.
Really good.
Yeah, it's best always try to be ahead of it and call them up, and they're like, oh, okay, well, this is impressive. Fine, I can go easy on you. It's the ones that they have to chase that they get really frustrated with, and start saying, well, it's due in full now, or it's going to be sent over to the debt collectors and you're going to owe them. It's going to be interest and blah, blah. I'm friends with HMRC now, I'd say.
How is the business running now financially?
Financially, thank God, we are making a profit, I'd say. It was just like paying a backlog of debts, even rent arrears, thank goodness. What I will say with the mistake that the agent, like mis-selling me the property in the first place, what I would say is they took that on the chin, the accountant that I was dealing with, and the team, they took that on the chin and said, okay, you know what, we will try and work with you in this situation because we know we've already inconvenienced you. Fine, we will be a bit more patient with the rent. They gave me a rent-free period. They said that, okay, you can wait until you get your feet. When you get X amount of children, start paying us back. And I managed to get back up to date, I think late last year, I'd say, because other things just took priority, and they were being very reasonable with me, so I was very happy about that. So other than playing catch up, we're now seeing a really, really good return, and especially since the rise in the rate from April, and now the new 9 months and above with an eligibility code, that funding is very sweet. Fantastic time to be running a nursery. Very, very, very happy. So I used to really shy away from taking in funded children because the rate was really bad at first, I'd say, for the area. Should I say the rates of them for here? So for Tower Hamlets a few years ago, there wasn't any funding for babies, of course. For 2 to 3 year olds, the rate was about £8.10, and then the rate for 3 year olds was about £7 or £6.70 or £7 or something. So quite low, if you ask me. So we were trying to say, okay, we'll cap maybe 10 children at funded, and then we're relying on everyone else paying privately.
Was you still managed to reach near capacity with that?
No, that was a struggle. It was very slow, especially first year. I'd say at the end of the first year, we had maybe about 15 children, and most of them were funded. I think we had maybe 2 or 3 privately paying families, and they weren't even coming all day, every day, every week. So we were only getting maybe like £800 or £500 or something like that when rent is due, and that's about 4k. This is not breaking even, and we have to wait for the next month to get their funding and everything like that. So a lot of that was we were still having to pour in so much of our own funds into that, and that kind of stopped by the time we got into maybe year 2, because by the next spring our numbers had spiked, and we were taking in on, I think we had about 25 children by then, between 25 and 30, and we had more privately paying parents. So we were slowly paying catch up. And then we just thought, you know what, let me not cap the funded people, because then stupidly we weren't full and we were turning the funded families away. Because I'm like, I need the monthly incomes. I'm so sorry. I can't deal with getting paid every 2 to 3 months now. But then I said, you know what, let's just open the doors to everyone. And numbers were going up drastically. Again, I was kicking myself. Why didn't I do this in the beginning? So I then started speaking to one of the other owners of another nursery that I used to work at. And they were just like, no, funded space is just a waste of time, this and the other. Tried not to focus on that. Other families will come. So I'm leaning on that advice, and it wasn't serving me. So I thought, no, forget it. Let me just open to everyone. And then we had, I think about maybe 85% of our families were fully funded only. Yeah. Remember, we don't charge consumables. So it was just that. And then maybe about the other 15% paying privately. And we were just like scraping through. But when we started opening our doors, it became profitable for sure. Yeah. And now we've even done it. Yeah. And that's even me thinking about what it's going to be like from September onwards. Like, give me the money, roll it in. I don't mind if it's every 2 to 3 months now, because now finally we've got about 66 children registered in total. Yeah. With all of that funding and privately paying, we're able to cover maybe, let's say, like 3-4 months in advance now. So we're not really worried about the cash flow, and we just know that there is more coming in, and we're already at our maximum in terms of staff, in terms of all the outgoings. We've already got the maximum of that. So with the extra money, it's literally just bonuses on top of that.
So are you at capacity at the moment in terms of children?
No, we can have 72 spaces depending on the sessions that they take. And at the moment we have about 66. So almost. And we've got a very long wait list for especially our baby room, which is the smallest but the busiest and most in demand room.
How did you feel during the early days setting up?
How did I feel?
Nervous, overwhelmed?
Everything. I was scared, nervous, very excited. I was very excited to just see the end results. I said, I knew I was going to get there. I just don't know how long it's going to take me. But I knew
it. Did you feel at the end result yet?
Yeah, massively. Yeah. I'm right in the thick of it. I'm like, yeah, part of the gang. Yes, I'm a proud nursery owner of a successful nursery, thriving nursery. Got a very good reputation, and 3 years in, the business side of it as well, I feel more knowledgeable, more confident. I make less mistakes, but I'm always trying to learn. I'm always trying to learn about, okay, how can we do things better? How can we move with the times? I know content is king at the moment, so we've been trying to up that, opening up a few more pages. But the feeling of, you know, that like impending doom or dread that anything can happen at that point, at any point. And who are they looking at? They're looking at me.
Yeah.
But I have to be the one to come up with the answers, the solutions, the this, the that, dealing with day-to-day breakages, dealing with comments that parents might have, just staying on top of it. I would say I used to stress way more in years 1 and 2. Now, I don't even think I can call it stress. I'm braced for anything and I'm kind of ready, but managing to live my life very normally in between that.
Yeah.
And as much as I don't have to be on site, I like being on site. So I come in at the end of every day just to tie up the day and everything like that. So that kind of eases my anxieties. It's like I'm here to see the place is not burning down. Sometimes when I'm away, I'm like, what's happening? Who's saying what? What's going on? Are the children being fed? Are the children being this and that? And then I'm like, no, I need to trust myself. They're fine.
Yeah.
And it's just all my intrusive thoughts that they play a big part of making me anxious. But it's anxiety in a fulfilling way, I'd say. I don't think it will ever stop when you're in charge of something so important. Right. And other people's children, like this is one of the most important fields to get correct and really stay on top of, especially when it comes to safeguarding, when it comes to just overall well-being of not just the children, the parents as well. Because I find that sometimes the children are fine. You have to kind of hold the hands of the parents who are like, wow, this is a bit overwhelming. This is a strange place and strange experience. La, la, la. So that's where I play on my personality as a big part of that as well. I'm so open, so willing to share everything that I've experienced with them. And I tell them a bit about my story, and we open the doors as much as we can to the parents. It's not, oh, drop off and pick up at the door. Come in, come and see what your children have been doing. You are a part of this family as well. We try to be an extended part of the family with like the aunties and uncles and whatever, to help parenting be a bit more easy. And where we see that they're starting to relax a little bit more and know that their children are in safe hands, that's all you can ask for. And that just makes us really, really happy. Then their guard is down and everyone's more relaxed and doesn't feel like they're being watched by hawks because somebody's not sure that their child is in great hands. But with proof of that, by opening our doors, they can see that happening. And our communication is top notch as well. We use family to communicate with them, and every single day there's an update about something visually as well, because I think that's important. Every parent wants to be a fly on the wall. So without having to open our cameras, like we were going to talk about CCTV, without having to open our cameras, at least you've got the snapshots and videos that you can rest assured, oh, my child's all right. Because I love to say when children come in, sometimes they put on a bit of a performance. Oh, I don't like this place. Oh, I want to go home with you, mummy. 2 minutes later, they're sitting with the Lego, not even wondering or caring who's dropped them off. They're so well distracted and happy. So for us to give that snapshot to the parents, it's like, oh, what was all the fuss about then? Or what are you trying to do here? Yeah. And that's always a great feeling. We get lots of feedback from parents about that.
I can see the strong relationships you've built with your families, especially seeing the child come in on the day off.
Yeah, exactly. To give gifts, I know.
That was really cute.
I'm so glad that you managed to see that. But yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah.
And even our kitchen's a tip at the moment. But a parent came in and brought a whole bunch of orchids as well, just to say thank you. And their child left a couple of months ago. So they still think about us. And then they bring their children back to visit when they've grown older in their uniform and everything. And it's really lovely.
The nursery age is a very big development for the whole family.
Yes.
For a child, it's the first time they're leaving them with other people.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's not family. Yeah. It's a big deal. It is. And that's why we do structure the nursery the way that we do, where we do open the doors and we don't want anyone to feel like they're being kept out. This is as much as your place as it is your children's. So why should you feel like you're being, pushed to one side? Yeah. What is there to hide? Yeah, come in and have fun, take a seat, have a cup of tea, relax.
One question I get asked a lot is what stage do you feel like you could be less hands-on as an owner?
It depends in what way, to be fair, because my hands-on before was being here every single day, 8 till 6, no rest, sorting out everything, making sure you're speaking to the parents, sorting out the paperwork, all of that stuff. But now, thank goodness, I've got the flexibility of being able to do a lot of that at home, whatever I needed to do at home, and be more communicative through emails. Because a lot of parents, once they've left, they want to, instead of calling, they would want to email. So, and I believe in fairly quick responses as much as I can when it comes to parents. So if I'm not distracted by the goings on of the nursery, letting the teachers doing what they're doing, I would be more hands-on with replying to them about whatever they've asked for, checking in, seeing how they're doing. And they really appreciate that communication as well, because it feels like they're being handheld even beyond the door being closed and now their child is being left there. When I am on site, I love to go above and beyond. So if a child has already got their snapshot of the day, I would do another one just because I'm here, and why not? I'll send over another one and take a selfie and be like, or call the mum. So loads of nurseries, they don't do things like taking the phone and allowing their parent to speak to the child. Like if you've got a child who's usually kind of confident and gets on with the day, but they're a little bit down, they're not really feeling themselves, and I miss mummy, I miss daddy, or whoever. I'm like, should we just give mummy a call then? Let's just have a chat with mummy. Yeah. I'll just grab the phone, take it, and be like, nothing to worry about. Little Timmy just wanted to have a little chat with you. And yeah, they'd have a little chat and they'd be bouncing off the walls after that. There's nothing wrong with those kinds of engagements and interactions, even in the middle of the day. And I think the parent, trusting they're not, busy and swarmed with whatever they need to do. It's nice to have the reassurance that a teacher on site cares that much that they would want to remedy how their child is feeling. It makes them smile. They've had a little pick-me-up in the middle of the day that they wouldn't usually expect, and the child is happier. So things like that. I'm quite unorthodox with those kinds of things.
Are those little things hard to break down the boundaries between you and the parent?
I would say no, because what you see from us at the beginning is what you see all throughout. Those
things that you do helps to break down those boundaries.
Oh yeah, of course. Sorry, I misunderstood the question. Yeah. Oh, it massively does. They know that somebody cares, not just on this is a transactional level. No, you really care about my child's well-being and how that would even, make me happy to know that there is full wraparound care. Yeah, and we become like family. We chat, they send us memes and all of this stuff, and it just becomes really chatty and a casual back and forth, rather than, sorry, Miss Edwina, It's all nice. How was your weekend? Kind of vibe. Yeah, and the barriers are just...
So going back to the first video you watched, do you remember what video it was?
I think it was one of your earlier videos. When did you start the channel? Was it in... I can't remember.
Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago?
Okay, yeah. So then it was about then. Yeah, I think you'd maybe had 4 or 5 videos at then. Now you've got tons.
So what made you first want to reach out?
One, familiar face. I thought, oh my gosh, this is great. I can just fire all my questions. But then at the same time, I'm like, okay, you're busy as well. So you probably won't even have the time to do all of that. But where you did have the course, I was very interested in that. I thought, okay, save your time. I'm more than happy to get the course, which I did. Yeah, and not even just the familiar face, the fact that you were one of 1 or 1 of 2, somebody else with very few videos who was covering this kind of stuff. So I relied on those videos, and just to make sure that it kept me compliant, kept me knowledgeable, and it reassured me that I was going on the right path. Because things that you were saying, I'm like, yeah, exactly. They're really genuinely very relatable. And a few of your examples as well, especially of your latest videos, they've matched up with kind of like the number of like staff that I have. Because I remember you had a video of a breakdown of how much it would cost to run a nursery. And I think you used the 10 mark or whatever. I'm like, oh, this is great. I've got 10 members of staff. I wonder what numbers you've got and if they'll match up with mine. And they did. I was like, okay, thank God. So I thought I was overspending on this. But the one thing that even caught me, and I was like, yeah, man, I've made the right decision. You were talking about the staff wages, and you made a point to say that it's, of course, if you want to keep like brilliant staff, you're going to want to pay above minimum wage.
Yeah.
So over the years, I'd met some other nursery owners, including the ones that work nearby. And they were just like, yeah, well, no, we pay minimum wage that's it. Apprentices, even better, because they cost $4.50. I'm like, $4.50 is criminal. I think from even back then, they've changed it now. I think it's like $6.50 or something like that. But I was paying them between £6.50 and £7 3 or 4 years ago. I thought, I'm not paying someone £4 to work at the I can't do that. Again, this is what would tie into me being the pushover. I over give and I over want to please people. So I'm like, yeah, I genuinely want you to stay. I'm going to you're not going to find this deal anywhere else. And I really want you, so why would I not pay you more?
That's shown in the retention that you have.
This is it, exactly.
You have had any staff
issues? They're getting paid great. Exactly, they're on great wages. Of course, they're not leaving. Yeah. I'm like, it's a win-win. And at this point now, I've, like I said, I've reached the maximum of the outgoings that I would need to pay. So even if anyone was to leave, they'd just be replaced with the same amount. So I'm not really losing out. I've already reached that maximum capacity. That way, if any other money's coming in, it's a bonus because I've already reached that platform. And not only do I pay over the minimum wage, we overstaff as well. So, to avoid going to agencies, we have like a few part-timers floating about, some people that we know personally that would want to do bank hours and stuff. We reach out to them again for consistency and staff retention. We don't want to have like lots of different faces coming in. Yeah, exactly. Really and truly, I could technically pay for 2 or 3 staff members less and still be covering ratios, including me stepping in whenever I can. But I just choose to have those on site because you just never know with children. Anything can happen.
It gives a peace of mind.
Yes, exactly. And staff get sick too, just like children. We've got all these policies. Why are we in for a vomiting? That's 48 hours and blah, blah, blah. Okay, that's our policy. So we've got to, adhere to that. So we've got to account for replacing that person. So I'd rather it much be in-house. So yeah, people would say that I would overspend him. But when I heard your number, I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what is going out. So it gives me the reassurance I'm doing the right thing. And I'm not just being taken for a ride or anything. I'm doing it with a purpose of keeping staff turnover very low.
When you did reach out, you was quite very far down the line. So how did the course and the chats help you get over the edge?
Mainly to finish off like job contract, having the job descriptions there, because I'd already looked for buildings. I didn't really focus on that part. But then when I did go and see, and when I read through, I was like, oh yeah, I did check Rightmove. Oh, I did try Zoopla. I was doing all these right things in the first place. So this is great. But yeah, it was more to tie in the rest of it and like what to expect with an Ofsted registration and all of that. That was very, very helpful. And yeah, just the paperwork side of it more than anything. Because with the running of the nursery, again, I'd already had that experience working in nurseries myself and working my way up to management. So it was more reassurance, validating what I'd already done, cross-checking, cross-referencing that I'd done everything in the right way, in the right order, making sure I was compliant, the type of insurances I needed, all of that stuff. And yeah, finished basically the rest of the process. I'm very, very grateful.
Okay. So you started, I think there's 3 nurseries literally on the same area.
Yep, same village.
Yeah, same little village that you can see.
Yeah.
How was that? Was you not apprehensive about that starting off?
I didn't find out until I was about a month or 2 in, because I would see families with babe buggies and stuff, and they'd be walking through. I'm like, where are you going? So I thought I'd do a walk around, and then I saw, oh, there's another nursery here. And I thought, okay. Then I started to panic thinking, oh, they're more established. Everyone's just going to run there. We're not going to get any new families at all. Everyone's just going to go there. And then it wasn't until maybe another month later that I found the other nursery. I was like, this is a joke. How could I have found a compound with 2 existing nurseries? In fact, when I joined, there was actually a third one, but they closed down for some other reasons. And that was like one of the biggest chains that was over there. But they closed down. I don't know, that gave me a little bit of peace of mind, thinking, okay, well, at least the children who used to go there, maybe they'll come and want a new nursery and things, blah, blah, blah. But then I thought, no, they're going to go with the established ones. But then again, I had to talk myself down and think, okay, well, they started off as new. People gave them a chance. They're really thriving. I'll get there too. So I kind of just took the pressure off it and got to know them. And they were just like, okay, well, you let me know what classes do you need filled. We're filling this one. We'll send over babies if you want. We'll send over toddlers or preschoolers. And yeah, a few families that came from them came over to here as well. So it worked out great in the end. And now we're fantastic allies and we help each other out.
What sort of ways do you help each other out?
So in some situations, we've even covered with staff. So if there's been a last minute dropout of member of staff, they would send over all their credentials and be like, okay, well, this person checks out. They can cover you from 3 till 6 or whatever. So that's been really helpful. And also with families wanting a place. So they would usually people that make inquiries inquire with all 3 of us. As everyone knows, not every nursery suits everyone, as in terms of like, we offer different sessions, there's different pricing, there's different structures, all of these kinds of things. So they would say that they've got a family who doesn't really quite gel with their structure. Would you be able to help them out? So then they'd pass that lead over to us. They would try. If they liked it, they'd sign up, great. If not, then they try the other one. And it's kind of like this revolving kind of door.
So you work collaboratively.
Yes, rather than competing. Exactly. And that's, I'm so grateful for that, because then it's just stress that no one really needs.
They can lean on each other.
This is it, exactly. We've got the security.
Can be quite lonely. You get someone that's going through the same journey.
Very, exactly. And not many of them are young. This is the thing. So they're older women. We relate on, you know, the nursery front, which is great. At some points I did think, oh, are they looking at me like this, you know, young girl? Does she really know what she's doing? How long is she going to last? But I think, again, it was just those intrusive thoughts.
Yeah.
And they've kind of acted as mentors. Yeah, if anything. So that's quite nice. And they really do commend what I've done at the moment, and my partner as well, saying, yeah, just for young people, they're saying, oh, we wish we started in our 30s. Oh, we would have done anything to have started then, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, well, thank you.
They'll come and take some of your little ideas.
Yeah, the fresh ideas. What are the young ones doing nowadays? Exactly.
How do you feel now walking into your nursery, knowing what you built 4 years down the line?
Proud. I'm always proud, beaming with pride. I love to hear happy voices. I make it a point to know all of the children. So whenever I do come in, it's Eddie running over and giving cuddles and all of that. I feel accomplished. I did what I said I was going to do. I knew it was going to be successful. We are successful. People are happy in the building. Visitors always have something great to say, even if they haven't even come in yet. We get emails about the website, what they've seen on there, the photos, it looks very homely, the reviews, the Google reviews. So they're kind of sold before they even come in. And when they come in, we tie it all together. And I love to be very vibrant and speak to them about everything. So they see my passion coming through. And I am very passionate. Every time I come in, I'm always after making people smile or maybe people laugh or just leaving with a very, very good impression. So yeah, I'm filled with pride and happiness and joy and all the great things. I feel very, very blessed walking in this building.
Do you have like a proudest moment?
Oh, that's a very good question. What's my proudest moment? You know what? It's always with the children with SEND when they've reached a new milestone. So when the pre-verbals say their first word, it's always a tearjerker. The parents are happy, the children are happy, the staff are happy. I'm just like, wow, my nursery has allowed this to happen. So seeing all of that play out, very first child with SEND, when she began speaking, we were overwhelmed every single time it happened after then. Like the novelty didn't run off, maybe for like a month. We were just so happy that we knew then that Wonder Haven worked. And it wasn't just for, just typically developing children. We could really make a change in lives of children who weren't developing as typically or challenged in certain areas, and knowing that they weren't now fussing and upset being out of their parents' care, because they used to be in their parents' handbag, and where they don't have the language to communicate, the fact that they felt really loved and cared for, that they felt comfortable, take that next step, that's definitely my proudest moment.
I definitely think that's one of the most rewarding things about the field.
Yeah.
Is you generally see like children develop. And,
yeah. Seeing them grow up before your eyes. Never.
And
even first steps and everything.
You'll always remember them.
Yes.
Like even 8 years down the line, I still remember some of the first people that that developed under me. And
really,
yeah,
and
you never
you've made
forget.
an impact in their lives,
Yeah.
of course, and their families will never forget you.
Oh, the children they've gone off.
Yeah, the children, it's by the time they visit next, they're like, well, who are you? Sorry, I don't know you anymore. My teacher's Miss Taylor, and la la la. I'm like, oh, I used to change your nappy, young man. We used to be friends. But yeah, that lasting impact, it's amazing.
Yeah,
it's really, really good.
For life, essentially.
This is it, exactly.
Yeah. You
exactly.
can't get that in any other film.
No, you can't. You really can't. You genuinely can't.
Yeah.
I call the parents of the children that come, I call them our night care. We're the ones that do all the rearing. You're just taking care of them for the night, bring them back tomorrow. They're our babies.
Has there anything that surprised you with running a nursery?
I guess yes, because of course with anything you're gonna see good sides and you're going to see some bad sides or challenging sides and everything. I think the thing that I've been most surprised about is some parents, can I even call it gall, to say or accuse with based on nothing or by their own internal thinking or whatever. That has been quite surprising actually, that they could just say anything and make up anything, which can turn into something quite big. Those things can ruin reputations, but the most important thing is if you are transparent, if you are very open with your families and they get a full understanding of what your nursery stands for, what you do, and they know what's going on, you can always have the comfort in knowing that they will always have your back. There's nothing that anyone could say that could kind of sway their minds, but there are some parents that will really, really try. And it can be over really small things as well. For example, if a child has an accident, there's some accidents you see, there's some accidents you don't see, but the way you deal with it is key. You have unseen accidents that you fill in and get them to sign. Luckily, we have CCTV camera footage that we can always refer to that we can give to parents and show them. We've got nothing to hide. This is what's happened. This is what we can show you and things like that. But where some parents try to make up their own stories and no, I know exactly how it happened. This is what happened, la la la. Those things do shock me. So I'm like, I don't know how you can be so sure if you weren't here and we've got the proof to show you that it happened differently. So that's what I'm very grateful about, having the CCTV to have our back. And yeah, I would say that is the most surprising thing that can come out of that, just allegations.
Have you always had CCTV?
I want to say 4 or 5 months we didn't. And then there was a parent who was very sure that their child had an accident on site when they didn't. And I said, right, we're getting cameras. I don't want the idea to even get as far as, oh, well, because I felt it and it's been caught on it, because I said so, it's the truth. Yeah. No. This is the truth because I've got it on camera.
You're definitely an advocate for CCTV.
A massive advocate. But
have you had any apprehension from staff about CCTV?
No, never. No, even in my other place as well, they had TVs with the CCTV screens on in every room, so everybody could see what everyone was doing at all points of the day. Even staff members then, they didn't really mind because they were all doing the right thing. If there's cameras there, what's the difference? So when I brought it here, I didn't expect any pushback, to be fair. I don't think there was any, but it didn't happen. There was no pushback at all. Nobody left because of it. Nobody felt, oh, well, you're spying on me and blah, blah. I think everyone understood, to be fair. Yeah. And they'd all experienced different nurseries, some that did have cameras and some that didn't. It was something that a lot of them were used to anyway.
I definitely think there's lots of positive for it. And I think, moving forward, a lot more will be taking it up. Even
for the nursery's sake, just to cover them. Because like I've said, if parents make allegations, you can prove it. It's easily done. As much as you do need to do, the investigation and whatever, the proof is literally in the pudding. So I much prefer that for my own peace of mind, that say what you like, we've got cameras. So, and again, some of the parents actually come in, even though we do say on the tours, they come in and say they don't even realize that we have cameras because, well, they're placed, I feel like, in obvious places, but they say they don't even realize. There was one where she said that she didn't realize and was very close to making an allegation. But when we said, oh, okay, well, we'll check the cameras. Oh, you have cameras? Oh, I wasn't aware. Yeah, let me know your findings. It turned out to be nothing.
So our parents are quite happy they have CCTV.
Yeah, some of them are advocates for it. They said that they've gone to other nurseries. One of the others, actually, I don't think any of the others do. And they've said that was the reason why they didn't go for those nurseries, because they didn't have cameras. Yeah. Or one, because they had camera fixtures, but they didn't work. So they thought, well, that's dodgy. I don't know what you're doing there. And I don't know, each their own. But I 100% advocate for cameras. That's good. I think that all nurseries should have cameras.
So anyone that's watching this, have you got any advice for anyone that's looking to start up?
I would say do it. Just start, join your course. Definitely get your course because it covers the A to Z of everything to do with nurseries. Now, going through it myself, having done it 3 cycles now, there's nothing that's not on your course that I haven't experienced. So you've covered everything. I would 100% recommend your course and to go for it, because there's no better time to be in childcare now. What I would say actually with the funding, I don't think many people understand how that's paid, and I know that changes from borough to borough, because I have a friend who's got a nursery in St Albans, really high up north. Her borough, they pay every month, which I think is genius. And Tower Hamlets at some point were going to change to doing monthly. They sent out surveys, but they said apparently 70% of people opted for the termly payments, a big chunk of money.
Yeah.
But then they were mainly the bigger chains of nurseries in the area that preferred it that way. I was like, I'd much rather monthly, because I don't need to worry about cash flow that way. And if there's any leavers in between the term or any joiners, they don't need to wait until the end of the term, because we have to wait for the funding, or the funding won't be given to us if they start at a certain date, and the parent would have to pay, then they get put off and all of these things. But they decided not to go with it. It is what it is, but that is something to be definitely aware of how the funding is charged, especially where there's going to be more families eligible for funding. Majority of fees are going to be coming through the government now.
So your council does it in arrears?
They do a 50% estimate at the beginning of a term, and then they pay the rest of it either a month and a half or 2 months later.
Okay. It
really depends on how fast they want to work as a team. I've had many back and forths with the funding department.
Very frustrating.
Extremely frustrating. This is my money you're messing about with. I've got staff to pay, and I can't just be saying, oh, well, sorry, it's going to be 2 weeks late. No, I have to stay on top of that. There have been a couple of months where maybe 1 or 2 staff members have had to wait a day or 2, but it's because the funding team have paid us a day or 2 late. Had we been paid on time, we wouldn't have the issue. Sometimes you get a bit of pushback from the team. Oh, well, shouldn't have to rely on this money. It's a top up at the end of the day, you shouldn't see them as fees. I'm like, what am I meant to see them as? I've got about 90% of fees coming from you guys. So yeah, that was something to get used to. Now we're managing quite fine. We're fine with the termly payments. But staying on top of cash flow, especially if you will be having more funded money coming into it. You just have to really be careful with cash flow for sure.
Yeah.
And be nice to your staff.
So is there anything that you wish you knew before you started?
I wish that the marketing, I wish that I would have marketed, definitely. I would have done something like a sign up list. Yeah, just get a landing page. Nursery coming soon, 2026 or whatever. Sign up here for more information and start drip feeding, what you plan to do. I would have done that. I wish I knew that I could have negotiated a longer rent-free period. I was just given what I was offered and I just took it.
How much did you get?
6 weeks, which is nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. I couldn't believe when I started doing research, I saw people to get a year, a year and a half. Sometimes if you're doing well, 2 years. I thought, oh my gosh, I was taken for a ride. But it is what it is.
They're doing you a favour as well.
Yeah. I thought this was great. Those 6 weeks flew by. And then I started getting the QuickBooks invoices. Due now. Overdue. No. Reminder. That was a lot. What else did I think I wish I knew? I wish, again, back to parents making allegations. Yeah, I wish I knew that was a thing. I didn't really think it was. I know that parents would complain, but making allegations, full-on allegations, I wish I knew that was something that needed to be taken into consideration. Because when you're not expecting that, you're thinking, oh, everyone's sensible. Yeah. How can anyone just say whatever they want? There will be. Yeah, I wish I knew that was potentially going to be a thing, so I could be a bit more prepared. But you can never be prepared enough for something like that. That's a big attack. Yeah. Anything else? I don't know. I think that's it.
I was genuinely proud of what you've done.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have a tour and see everything.
Yeah.
Beautiful so far.
Of course. I'll show you around for sure, definitely.
Can we have a look?
Yeah. Of course, let's go.
So show us around. What's this room?
Yeah, so this room is the preschool room. We take children from 3 to 5 years, just before they turn 5, because we have some children that prefer to stay here until they go to reception, or year 1. Up here is a bit more academic. We focus on school readiness, making sure that they know they're equipped with all the tools that they need for when they go to reception, when it's a bit more sit down, focus, handwriting skills and all of that kind of stuff, focusing on literacy and numeracy and manners. We're very big with manners as well. We try to, exactly. And we try to encourage handshaking as well, just to, do something a little bit extra. That's something I I picked up from my last nursery.
Okay. What room is this?
So this is the toddler room where we have children from 2 to 3 years.
I can see it's the
super moons, yeah. So when we started the nursery, we had a kind of like a galaxy theme. So downstairs is rising suns, here are super moons, and the top part is shining stars. I love space and everything to do with space, so I wanted to have that as a part of the nursery as well.
Is that from young that you like space?
Yeah, from very young. I've just been fascinated with the idea of space. It's just so vast.
So what were your ideas here?
To create, open space, and especially where children can develop their independence.
Yeah.
We try to keep all of the resources really low down so that the children can access it themselves. We also start the main part of potty training at this age. It can be very trying. You need to have a lot of patience to be in this room. But yeah, all of the milestones that they reach is really, really, really rewarding. And they start most of their extracurricular classes up here as well.
So where did you find most of your resources for them?
We've shopped in IKEA, we've shopped in Hope, we've shopped on Amazon. We are constantly on Amazon because we need those next day deliveries, especially with lots of breakages and stuff like that.
You sign up to Prime.
Yeah, of course, definitely. So we're always getting packages from there. We've tried, I think it was called My First Baby. There's some other places that we've seen on Instagram and socials as well. And a lot of the staff are really good at Facebook Marketplace.
Do you have like a best buy where you'd be like, oh, I'm really excited I got this?
I'm really excited that we got this actually. It's our balancing beam. This was a good find on a Facebook Marketplace actually. It's some climbing equipment attached to a slide. We also have the curved one. I think that's downstairs. That it can double up as a rocker or something to climb over, just to keep the children active because children love to move. But that is a must. It is a very big winner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They use a lot.
Yeah, we do. Yes, we do. We have to keep it away some of the time because the children end up fighting it. Yeah, you know how it goes.
Want to see the baby room?
Yes, of course. Follow me. Let's go to baby room. This is the baby room. Yes.
What was this one called again?
This is Rising Suns. Yeah. Following the theme again. So in this classroom, we take children from 6 months to 2 years, and they are again taught independence from very early. We focus on them trying to feed themselves, making their own choices. Oh, that's the other round piece of equipment that I was talking about that doubles up as a rocker. It's just underneath there, and climbing equipment. Just so they can, get their motor skills all up to par. And we love lots of sensory play in this room, very, very messy all the time. And we follow each child's very individual routine because we know at this age, they're all coming from different routines and nap times and everything like that. So we try to follow that as closely as possible. And then over time, they start to naturally get into our routine. Yeah. So everyone's in a bit more sync, but this is like most important.
So in the corner, you got nappies and that. So
we provide all of the nappies, all of the wipes, everything that you can think of, all the pseudo cream, all of that stuff. Our main thing is to take the thinking away from the parent because there's already so much to think about. We would like to, relieve you of that burden. Just drop your child off with a bag of spare clothes, and we've got the rest.
And that's something that parents have really enjoyed.
They love that. They love it, even with breakfast as well. So it's not something that we offer, but because one of our big things is flexibility as well. We would, if a parent was to request for their child to have breakfast here, we would allow that at no extra charge as well.
And what age do you start from here?
6 months.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
6 months or 2. Challenging, but I've had some experience with children who were 3 months. But with the nursery of my own and where I was working before, we were used to working with children from 1. So that was the lowest age that we would accept. But then we got loads of inquiries for babies. And we thought, you know what, let's just try. And we took our first baby in at 5.5 months. And it was fairly easy, I want to say. We lowered the age from then.
I hope you've enjoyed seeing Edwina's journey and what she's built here at Wonder Haven. If you have, make sure you subscribe as I'll be doing more videos like these, interviewing people who have helped open their nursery. But from those early days of planning to running a successful setting in such a competitive area, it just shows what's possible when you have the right support and determination. If you're thinking about opening your own nursery and want the same level of guidance, feel free to get in touch with me. I've helped so many people, just like Edwina, turn their ideas into thriving nurseries. Just click the link that's on the screen now. fill in a quick form and I'll get back to you personally. Whether you've just started to plan or already have a building, we can work together to get you where you want to be. And as I mentioned, to see more real life stories and advice, make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. God bless.